Hey yo, and welcome to another edition of the Take One Spoilercast. And I will be giving a spoiler review on the movie It. And if you guys haven't seen it, go and check out my non-spoiler review. It is up right now. And basically, if you have seen it, continue listening. Or if you haven't seen it and you just genuinely do not care, keep listening. I mean, I'm not responsible. This is called a spoiler cast. It is a spoiler review in a podcast form. And spoiler. I will be hitting key points and all this stuff. I feel like I have to explain that to people because people are going to be listening to this but like, oh my god, I didn't know. Well, I'm telling you right now, this is a spoiler review. I don't know how many times I can say it, and this will be my last warning. This is a spoiler review. I will be spoiling the movie. I will be discussing stuff that happens in the movie that will be considered as spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, check out my non-spoiler review. It's in the link in the description. And here we go. So basically, I want to touch on a few points or whatever of this movie. If you guys seen my non-spoiler review, you would know that I was kind of disappointed with this movie. I wasn't too blown away. I was kind of just, it didn't hit me like I thought it would. I heard a lot of stuff, Rotten Tomatoes is saying like, it was getting a good score. Every time like somebody, I've only heard a few people before I even saw it. Only heard a few people say that they didn't like it, or it was funny, it wasn't scary, this and that, or it's boring, I was just wanted to garner my opinion by, watching it myself. So I saw it and it wasn't there. It wasn't there. And now I can get like really deep into what I didn't like about it. And a lot of things I didn't like about it, like I touched on a few things. Let me look at my notes right now. I touched on a few things. Like I said, I liked the acting, I liked the humor that was in it, the chemistry between characters. It had some scary moments. And that was one of the things I didn't like about it, was that, like I said, it had some scary moments, just some. It should have been all around just like horrifying. It should have been one of those movies. I gotta take my keys out of my pocket. But it should have been one of those movies that just scares the crap out of you. Just looking at the trailers are scary. Like the trailers like bring you in. They're good trailers. They sell the movie and all that stuff. When you watch it, it's like, it's crazy. It looks really crazy. And I mean, the movie itself is crazy. But as you're watching it, it's like certain things happen, back to back and all that stuff. Certain scenes go on with things happen back to back, but they don't have no lasting effects. More of the reason why it doesn't have a lasting effect is that a lot of it is predictable. A lot of it you kind of like know this is going to happen, that's going to happen, this is, this and that. So it really doesn't have no shock value. Another reason is that nothing is really kind of good or done good. A lot of times the CG is off. It kind of takes you out the movie. Like I mentioned, it's certain scenes where like Pennywise is coming at the kids. Either he's shaking from side to side, like really like violently, like what the hell. I mean, that has nothing to do with the CG, but I mean, that just take me out. The first time it was okay, it was scary, but then when he do it like, I think he do it like one or two other times besides that. It's just like, why is he running at the kids like that? And then is some scenes where like he's coming at the kids where it looks kind of like CG-ish. It looks fake. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like y'all literally have the technology and just the budget to make it look scary. Like, why can't you just have them running at the person? Like, it's just that I feel like that would be much scary. I have a clown that looked like Pennywise, at least this version of Pennywise, just running at you. Why you gotta add CG and make it look all fake? It's just, it really did take me out the movie, and I didn't like that they did that. Like, I'm just looking at it like, what? Why? Like, why would they do that? Like, it just it didn't fit. It really didn't. Um, what else? What else? What else? I really enjoyed Pennywise. Like I said, I didn't enjoy the way he was used, and that was some of the things that I didn't like how he was used. And then, what is it? I'm trying to remember. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. I wasn't writing notes while I was up in the up in the trailer, while I was up in the theater. So I'm trying to remember a lot of things, but that was basically mainly some of the things what I didn't like about the use of Pennywise, and it just, I don't know, like, it just, after a while he just wasn't scary. I don't know. I think they just didn't utilize him to his full potential. He just wasn't scary. I don't know. I don't even know really how to explain it. I'm trying to articulate. But yeah, I mean, Pennywise he wasn't scary at times. It was like he was scary in the beginning and all that stuff. But as the film progressed, he became just less scary, Even all the scenes that he was in, he just became less scary, and I was just kind of disappointed with that. But also, just to get into it, yeah, I mean, and it just, I don't know. One of the things that I did like about the movie was Georgie. Georgie, the whole scene where like he's sailing his boat, and he sees Pennywise up in the sewer drain or whatever, and just the whole scene where he grabs his arm, and like, I mean, even just the conversation of how he talks, it was creepy. I enjoyed that scene. Just the way Pennywise talks, like, I enjoyed that. But then when he grabs Georgie's arm, and then he rips out his like 10 rows of teeth and bites off his arm, and then Georgie literally like is on the ground with his arm off. He, like, yeah, they was bold as hell. They went there, got a kid with his arm just basically bitten off or whatever, and so as he's trying to crawl away for his life, Pennywise's arm reach out and pulls him back, and it's like, wow, what the hell? And from what I remember from the original miniseries, because I haven't seen it, I haven't read the book or anything like that, but I have seen scenes from it. And I had recently saw the Georgie scene in the original miniseries. And so basically it doesn't really show anything. All it shows is Pennywise, that he grabs Georgie's arm, and it shows his teeth, and he opens up his mouth, and then it goes towards his face and just kind of blurs, transitions into another thing. And it's like, this one just went all balls out. It showed him bite off his arm, and show him without his arm, and it's just like that's crazy. But I mean, given the fact that because it is a movie and it's R-rated, it's gonna show more than what a TV series or a miniseries show that's on TV, and just because of the fact of they want it to reach a certain demographic, or you want families to watch it, or whatever the hell. So you gotta be, it can't be like a rated R scenario or whatever. I mean, not like the shows are now. I mean, they probably could get away with the stuff that they have up in this movie, probably on like what is it? I was gonna say TBS, but it's like AMC or excuse me, USA or something like that. Whatever station freaking American Horror Story comes on. I think that's TNT. No, it ain't TNT. Gosh, I am forgetting all this stuff. Sorry, it is late at night and I am recording this and I am just out of it. But yeah, that's one scene that I did enjoy. Another scene that I really did, well, I mean, well, not another scene, but another thing that I did like about this movie was just, like I said before, like Pennywise's teeth, how they had his teeth from just that scene to like the other scenes, how he opened up his mouth wide and you see all these crazy teeth. Like, I'm a guy who loves crazy shit in horror films. I mean, not too crazy, whatever, but as far as like the design of the creature, the entity, or whatever it is, like, I love the design. Just like, for example, the Crooked Man in The Conjuring 2, how he looks like that. Just, even though it didn't show him like too much like that, I love the way he looks. Like, that's one creature that out of like The Conjuring 2 that I really loved. So I'm like, damn, the Crooked Man, like that sounds scary as hell. He looks crazy as hell. He looks scary as hell. And that's why I love like the Thing, Pumpkinhead, and stuff like that. Like, I'm a creature guy. The more crazier a creature looks, the more I'm into it. And I just love that. And I just love the look of just his teeth and all that stuff. And just speaking of that, I love the look of the lady in the painting with the flute and stuff like that. Like, that was one of the scariest scenes I could say that was done in that movie, was when he was up in the room by himself, the painting dropped, he picks it up and he noticed that she's gone from the painting, and then right behind him is the freaking lady with the flute. She drops the flute, and then just the way it looked. Now, I mean, yeah, the CG kind of throws me off a little bit. Yeah, the CG throws me off a little bit. But when you get down to the bare bones, I love just the design of her. Just how crazy she looks, you know, just kind of distorted, you know, painting look, you know, I just like that. So, yeah, and then another, like, just look of, I like the look of the leper or whatever, and how he looks. I mean, the CG does kind of throw me off a little bit. That's the only thing. It's like, the CG, I feel like, I mean, I know this is kind of getting on top of it. I feel like a lot of the CG in this movie should not have been used. They should have gone at least practical enough to where if they did use some CG, it looks seamless. Yeah, seamless or whatever. And you really can't tell it. It's just a lot of times they use CG in places where they didn't need it and it stood out. And this was one of them, but at the same time, I did kind of like the scariness of the leper. And how he was chasing after the boy when he dropped this pill, talking about, do you think this pill will help me, or something like that. And he starts kind of like, not, I ain't gonna say chasing after him, but walking after him. I don't know. I guess you could say he was chasing after him. And like, that was actually a pretty scary scene, even though it was in the daylight. That was crazy. Like, it was in the daylight, and that was actually a creepy, scary scene. Because, damn, I ain't trying to get chased by nothing that looks like that, even in the daylight. Like, that's crazy. Shit. What else? Oh, yeah, and like I said in my review, I hate when the script calls for the main character to do something so stupid to push the story along. And I've said this plenty of time on reviews and podcasts and all that stuff. I seriously hate that. I feel like maybe sometimes it work. Sometimes. But if you got them all throughout the movie, you know, doing stupid things, and, you know, it just leads to them, you know, getting the short end of the stick. It's like, no, you can do that without having them, you know, do something stupid. You can have them pull in the short end of the stick without doing something so freaking stupid. And I hate that. And that's what they were doing all throughout this movie. Like, you would question, like, okay, you hear your name being called, like when they was up in the house and the boy they got the asthma. I don't know the name, so just don't castrate me. I guess that's the word to use. I guess just don't stone me to death. But, you know, he was hearing like his name being called, or, you know, just something that got his attention. You gonna stand there, even though, you know, you should be walking with them. I'll be like, look, hey, y'all don't hear that? You know, I'll be walking with them, like, trying to get their attention. I'm not about to sit there and be looking and just wait. Like, no, you don't do that. And then the boy with the glasses, he gonna run up in the room because he saw like whoever, or he thought he saw somebody, and like, no, you gonna run up in the room and then you get locked up in there with a whole bunch of clowns. Like, no, you just don't do stupid stuff like that. Like, I feel like they just had to do that in order to push the story along, and that just, no, they shouldn't have done that. And it's just, oh crap. And then one of the things that even got into that point, it was like, why would you invite, like, when you're asking like who wants to stay out there for watch? To my knowledge, from what my memory is, the girl, she didn't have her arm up when he had asked that question. So how in the hell did you get the two people that you got to go in with you? And then on top of that, one of the other kids, he has an inhaler. Why would you take him in a scenario to where he can get scared and he more than likely would die just by shock, or, he can't breathe and this and that? Why would you bring him in there? Why wouldn't you have him stand out there and, keep watch with the rest of them and bring the old girl up in there since she didn't have her arm raised? Like, I would think, like, you would think something like, I don't know, that didn't make sense. Like, I thought that she was coming up in there, but when I saw they brought him up in there, I'm like, what? Like, why? It didn't make any sense. But, I mean, it is what it is. What else? The fat kid. Him following the eggs. Well, actually following the balloon to the eggs and going down there inside the library. I did not get that. Like, that's one thing that I don't understand, is that why do you put your characters in positions so where they have to follow that? Like, literally, what logically, what kid would sit there and see eggs on the ground just going in the path and follows them? Like, when did you think that? I can see if there was like, under 10 or something like that. I mean, you will follow that because you, in a sense, don't know any better. But it's like, when you're his age, he's like, what, maybe like 13, 14 or something like that. Why would you sit there and follow these eggs and just keep following into a dark basement and this and that? Why would you do that? I mean, it went into a scary scene, like seeing that kid walk down and then it's like his head is kind of like cut off. What, in a sense, kind of cut off from, like, you can't tell that he's decapitated, but then once he steps down, you see that he's missing his head, and it's like he starts coming closer, and then he starts chasing after the kid. Like, that was a scary scene. I'm not even going front. Like, that was a scary scene. But then you see Pennywise running crazy side to side like he was running before, and it's like, why are you running like that? Stop running like that. But it's like, why would you put yourself in a position to where you're doing that? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get that. Like, I hate when filmmakers write their characters to do that. I just don't get it. I feel like that scene could have easily happened in another way. Like, he probably could have, like, wanted a book or trying to find something. And then the librarian is like, she's busy. Just go down there and, get it. And then he goes down there trying to find some information. And then he gets caught up in it. Now, I can see that. But to find, to follow the egg, I don't know. It's just, I'm not a fan of that. To me, when I see a movie that does that, it brings down points. It takes something away from it. What else? Projection scene. The projection scene, I like it, but I didn't like it. I liked it because it was unexpected. You seen the trailer and you seen the whole thing with the hair moving out the way and you see Pennywise's face. Cool. And then the thing falls to the side and then it gets stuck right there on Pennywise's face. And then the lights cut off and on and all that stuff, but then it cuts back on and you see Pennywise big as hell standing right there. To me, that scene, I liked it because it catches you off guard. You didn't expect it, but at the same time, it looked really fake. Like, I don't know. It's like I like it, but I don't like it. It just, I just don't I don't know. I ain't about to say I don't understand, but it was like that scene was just. I could see somebody laughing at that scene. I could see that being really comical to somebody. I feel like they could have did that. I don't know. They could have made that scene a whole lot scarier. Really, it could have made it a whole lot scarier. But I guess it's like something different than the whole what they did with the ring and how the girl climbing out the television. It's like bam, you big as hell and reaching for the kids. But I don't know. That was a 50-50 scene to me. The whole thing that I don't get was the whole floating scene. Was that when he grabbed Beverly and took her into the tunnel, and he basically hypnotized her or whatever, and had her floating. Like, what was that? Like, I don't understand it. Like, what was he doing? Because and that was the one thing that I didn't understand was that okay, he scares them so that he can eat them. Does he need them to be scared in order to eat them? Or is it just because, like, from what I understand, is just it makes them taste better. But if it makes them taste better, like, obviously they must taste good, but, fear makes it taste better. So it's like, can't he still eat them? So what did he do to her? Did he do something to make her really scared? I mean, like, what was really going on? Like, that's one thing that I didn't get. And then the whole floating thing besides her was that you said all the kids floating around. Were those kids that he's already eaten? Like, what was going on with that? Like, I didn't understand that. I can see, I mean, were they souls? That's one thing I just didn't know. Like I said, I don't know if this is part of the miniseries. I don't know if this is something that they took from the miniseries. I don't know if this is something that the director added. Or, the filmmaker added. I'm going to just say the filmmaker. That could go for the director, writer, or whatever. Is that something that the filmmaker added, or is that something from the book that the miniseries didn't have, and all that stuff? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just I didn't understand it. Maybe if somebody explained it to me, I mean, it's like, it was just spirits, and I don't know. It just it didn't make any sense. It really didn't make any sense. And they're floating around. It's like, did he already eat them? Is he saving them? Like, what? Like, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. It's just, whatever. What else? And then, matter of fact, it was, a part of the thing where he said that they, like, one of the kids saying that, like, the kids were floating down. Okay, they were floating down, and then it goes to the next scene. So it's like, what happened? Like, did they come down? Like, what were they bodies? Did they fall on the ground? Like, that's is part of it. Like, I didn't understand it. I really didn't. And so moving on, like, I'm gonna try and end this real soon. I got a couple more things just to talk about. Actually, just one more. I actually just touched on that. The last thing I got written down was just the way Pennywise runs at the kids. Like, the whole thing with the CG. It literally took me out the thing. It really did. Like, just like I said before, it's just the CG was just crazy. Like, it was just it did not need to be used. But, like, yeah, overall, like I stated up in my initial review, it could have been more scary. It reminded me of The Conjuring, and just The Conjuring had, like, scenes where it was like something will happen, and then once that ends, something else will happen, and then after that end, something else will happen. And it had, like, constantly back to back, this happened, that happened, and it had, like, scenes that last like 5 minutes that just straight scares. And I was like, I like that, and with this movie it had scenes like that, but they didn't execute it right. It didn't do it well, and I'm just like, damn. I kind of wanted to like this movie. Like, I went in liking it. I didn't hate it. I didn't, like I said, I didn't think it was an incompetent movie. I felt like they did a lot of things good with it. A lot of things they did bad with it, But overall, I feel like it could have been better. It could have been scarier. Certain things could have been done differently. It's just, this is one of those movies where you're just like, yeah, I don't know. It just, it could have been way, way, way better. Um, but with saying that, no movie is perfect. Even your favorite movie, you can pick a movie like The Godfather or Dark Knight or whatever. No movie is perfect, but in really good movies, the good outweighs the bad. So, I mean, I guess that's how it is. And I think that's all really I gotta talk about. I mean, yeah, I got everything off my chest. It's just everything that I can remember. And I'm gonna just end it right there. Thank you guys for joining me on this edition of the spoiler cast for the movie It. If you guys seen it, what did you think? Did you like it? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Write it down there in the comment section below. Also, check out my non-spoiler review. I'm guessing you already checked it out if you watching this or listening to this. Also check out everything else that I got going on. And I will catch you guys next time on whatever else. And peace.